Good morning from Precision Transmissions on a great Monday morning. We're going to be tearing down a 400 core this morning and build this tranny up to hold about 1,500 horsepower is what it should hold. But these things come in, they're just nasty as nasty can be, all rusted, solid and stuff like that. But this one's a special tranny. We like to build these for the pickups and stuff because they actually got a 9.5 inch long tail housing. They have the 350, 4L60, 4L75 yoke right here, splines, and takes a 350 seal and stuff, so it works out really good for a pickup. You don't have to do a lot of drive shaft modifying. So here's your vacuum modulator. We're going to be getting rid of that. We'll be plugging this hole here. We'll be getting rid of the governor. We'll be capping all this stuff up here. We won't be using it. We're going to be using an internal brake on this one here, where everything is done on the inside. And you'll hook your tranny brake wire to your passing gear wire right here that used to be. So this is why I like these here. They got the small 350 shaft. You can put them right in a pickup behind a 4L60 or something, and very little drive shaft modification. Just shorten them basically what you got to do, to where if you had a 400 shorty, you'd have to lengthen your drive shaft and a bigger yoke and everything like that. And these shafts are really strong. You really won't break them. So take this apart and see what looks inside. You can see how it's just rusted all up. Been full of water. But we're going to take this thing apart and then we're going to build it back to where it'll handle a lot of power. It does have a factory deep pan, which is good. We'll use this pan back. That way the customer don't have to put a special pan on it or anything like that. Paper filter. We'll go back with a screen filter that is cleanable, which is a high flow filter. Because anytime you put a trans brake on them or anything like that, the filter's got to flow a high amount of fluid. You got a longer pickup tube for the filter. The valve body and stuff on this one we'll be just getting rid of. We'll put it back up in our stockpile for building like a manual valve body or something like that for the street or somebody. Now, 400 tranny here has electric passing gear, and that's what this is right here. There's usually a switch up on the carburetor or under the dash by the gas pedal to when you push it to the floor, it sends a 12-volt signal down to this solenoid right here, and it kicks it down to second gear. Now, this tranny will have passing gear all the way up to 45 miles an hour with this wire unhooked. Because of vacuum drop of the modulator right here, it'll automatically cause a downshift. All the way up to 45, so that does help quite a bit. Since we are going to be making a trans brake unit out of this thing, there's some modifications that we do. This is your reverse band servo right here. This pin comes up. Fluid comes by it, applies your reverse band right here. Now when we put a trans brake in it, we leave these sealing rings off right here and right here. We'll leave that off. And right down in here, we'll drive a round check ball in that hole and plug it right there. Now, this engine brake servo right here for your band, inside of that stays out. All your check balls that you see in here, all this stuff right here will be left out too. So there's really no check balls that go back in it. This is a 3H 12-point socket. You're going to tap it to get it down in. So when you put it back in, you definitely want to flat file this area right through here and flat file all this really good, because the new valve body we put on here doesn't have any gaskets or anything like that on it. It just bolts right flush to it. You can see all the water and everything that comes out of these things. It's just really nasty. But you take this tranny apart for the first time, this nail right here, I call it a nail, it holds this shifter linkage in. When you take this pump out, this nail will fall out, and a lot of people don't realize it falls out when they put it in the parts washer or when you take the car wash and clean it up. So, and then when you put it together, your manual valve falls loose and then it doesn't shift. But if you just take a screwdriver and just kind of bend that up a little bit like that, it will not fall out. That way your linkage can't come out. Makes it a lot easier. Now this here is a 6-bolt pump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. They do have an 8-bolt and a 7-bolt. If you're gonna do an ultra bell or something like that where you cut the bell housing off, you wanna try to get the most bolts in the case right here. See, there's no hole here, no round hole here. Now some of the cases do have the lug in here to drill the hole and tap it if you wanna do that. And then some of them don't. So if I'm putting an ultra bell on this tranny right here, I probably wouldn't use this case. I'd try to find another case for the customer and do it that way, because you don't want to rip the bell housing off. Now if you get a turbo car, I've done it on mine when I went to a 2-speed power belt on my car, or a 2-speed 400. I broke the bell housing the very first weekend on it and didn't realize we even did it until we went to change the plugs and stuff on the car. And ended up having to cut the bell housing off that Saturday, and getting a friend of mine to bring me an ultra bell to put on there. And we did it race. We never broke it after that. They just don't like bumping in on a lot of power. Now, since this is so rusty right here, I'm gonna have to really work on it to get it apart. But in here is your forward clutch. This is your pump gears and stuff like that are all in here. But I'm gonna have to work on it to get that apart. So I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time. Now here's your 3rd gear clutch here. I will show you what they look like. Like this. Now they do make different waves for these things. They make this bevel wave that softens the shift. It flattens out when it softens the shift. Or they make a steel like this that's wavy, to when the clutch comes on, it has to flatten the steel. Now, anytime you build a trans brake tranny or a high horsepower transmission, you have to leave these waves out and then just stack it different in the drum to get your clearances right. The trans brake does come with different springs in here, right through here. And also we'll take this piston stuff out and we drill like a 45 thousandths hole down in this drum, which is a bleed orifice for the leakage that goes on in this tranny. When we put the tranny brake in it, it pegs it out about 220 pounds. So we have cross leaks in the sealing rings and stuff like that. And we put these higher springs in here to keep that from actually bringing on the clutch when it's not supposed to come on, just because of cross leaks. So I'm taking out the 2nd gear clutch right here. Now when we go back with our trans brake units and our high horsepower stuff, we go back with a 4 clutch here and a different top hat. And here's one of these wavy steels I was talking about for 2nd gear. It's wavy all the way around. Well, you don't want no wave in this tranny for high horsepower stuff. But when you take this wave out, 2nd gear shifts really hard, and you're gonna have to update this drum because it'll blow this sprag right here apart. A sprag is a one-way bearing which spins this way and it will not turn back. Spins this way, will not turn back. Now this sprag right here, what I'm gonna change the name of it, because this one here is called a roller clutch. It does the exact same thing, but it's got rollers and springs that go back and forth to cause that lockage when it ramps up this ramp right here. So when we go back with what we call a sprag, and you can see how many more locks it has right here compared to this one right here. But when you do that, you have to get a whole different drum right here, because this sets down on there like that and it will not work. So we'll update this drum to a 4L80E drum, because all the late 4L80Es and some of the earlies come out with the Sprague style drum, and it's a lot cheaper to do that than try to buy an aftermarket drum. You know, you're talking about a $500 bill if you buy an aftermarket drum, but the 4L80E drums are really stout, so they hold up really well. And we had a customer ask some questions yesterday about blowing this Sprague up down here in the case. And we don't see it at all. I've never really seen it. He said, I guess it's happened to him a couple times. But I'm gonna pull this out right here and show you. These are these sealing rings I was talking about that can cross over and leak over from side to side because you have pressure here, you have pressure here, and pressure here. So when these pressure up, you'll have a cross leak that can actually bring that other clutch on, and that's why we stiffen these springs up down inside this drum right here to keep them from coming on when we don't want them to. But we had a customer call us about this Sprague right down in here. Blowing up. This is your drum, your reverse band goes around right here. So he's talking about this Sprague right here breaking. It's a roller clutch, just like the other. It's got rollers that stops it from turning. I'll set it down in here and show you. Spins that way, won't turn back. Just spins only one way and locks. But he's having issues with it blowing up, and I don't understand it unless he's got a lot of wear in here, wear here. He's got a lot of wear on this bushing right here, not keeping his rollers and stuff all lined up. You know, if you're neutral dropping them, revving them up, dropping them into gear, maybe you might get that to blow up, but that is a very rare thing for that to blow up. So you want to really check this bushing. We replace every bushing in our units when we build them back. So you really want to check that. The reverse band, you really want to look at it for the wear on the tips right through here. If you can keep a stock GM band in these trannies, they're the baddest band on the planet. The aftermarket bands don't compare to these. So if your band is good and it's not worth the tips right here, use it back, because let me tell you, that is a bad dude. You want to look at your sun gear for wear through here, through here, through here, for chips and stuff like that. This is your parking notches right here. When you move the shifter and put it in park, the lever locks it in right here. So you want to look right here for wear on these tips. We get a lot of farmers that they don't come to stop and they put them in park, so they're always ratcheting them, and you'll see a lot of wear on these tips right here. We have to replace this whole planetary just to make that work right again, from not jumping out of park or anything like that. They always got a trailer behind them or something, so they're really hard on park. This is your rear sun gear, or ring gear, excuse me, sun gear. Just look for wear on the backs of these teeth, stuff like that. Check your movement on your gears. Make sure your brass washers are in here, all on the top and bottom. See if there's much wobble in these gears. So, you see how nasty these cores can be? But when we get done, this thing will look brand new. We'll get it all cleaned up. Acid dip all the rust off these pieces and stuff and get them all cleaned up where they look brand new, and get this back together. So if y'all need anything done and done right, give us a call at Precision Transmissions. Stop by our shop at 300 South Ross in Amarillo, Texas, 806-372-2210. Come by and visit. We're here 24/7, it seems like. So come by. Have a good day.